Hello and welcome to Wrestling Coffee. Me and Kyle have been sat here talking off camera for about 3 hours.
I thought you weren't going to tell them that.
Yeah, I'm telling them. I'm letting them know.
Ooh,
But
my coffee that I just made.
I'll say this though. A part of the reason we stopped it took so long to get us recording is because it has been thunder and lightning and raining like out, and Kyle is currently living in somewhere that you can very much hear every single droplet of rain slamming against the walls. So it would not have been a very good experience for you listeners.
Damn right you can.
Okay, let's swiftly move on. Kyle, this has been the first minute. I'm going to tell you what this topic is in the first minute of recording. This is a new record.
No.
Okay, let's yap for a bit longer.
Let's just wait for like 10 more seconds.
How's the family?
How's the family? You are
Yeah.
the family, brother.
Yeah, that's true.
How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Are you interested in talking about women's wrestling?
Yes. Yes, I think that'd be a good idea for us to do.
Right now.
Oh, right now. Okay, let's do it. So today's episode is going to be on who is the female GOAT when it comes to the wrestling industry. And not just WWE, just who is the female GOAT. I'll be honest, most of these examples are coming from WWE though, because me and Kyle are casuals. We're not like that.
Dirty little marks.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the women from the older generation. We're going to talk about some of the women from the newer generation. And I think the reason that it's an interesting discussion, in my opinion anyway, Kyle, I'm not sure how you feel about this, is because women's wrestling has evolved so much from what it used to be to where it is now. And it's one of those rare scenarios where you can say, arguably, women's wrestling is 20 times better now than it's ever been. Is it even arguable?
Are you publicly saying that women wrestling in the early 2000s weren't talented?
No. I'm saying that...
say that at the start.
It's not what I'm saying.
Episode.
I'm saying that WWE
I agree.
saw no value in women. They were just there. Women, WWE was like, yeah, eye candy. That's women's wrestling. I don't care about anything else. The fact that bra and panties matches existed says everything you need to know about how WWE felt about women's wrestling.
Yeah, that's cooked. Like, I actually can't believe, looking back at it, they were like, yeah, this is great. This is great cinema.
Aged like milk.
Yeah, it's a bit cringe.
It's pretty horrific. And that happened this century. Vince McMahon,
Yeah.
am I right?
What a guy.
My goodness. But even though there were some dark days, even though women were objectified and made to do stuff on TV, it was pretty horrific, there were still some stars in those days. So we're going to talk about some of them now. Kyle, the defining women from those generations was probably Trish Stratus and Lita that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Where are they on... We're not doing a tier list, but where are they on your sort of Mount Rushmore of women's wrestling?
As in what position? 1 to 4, or
No, but
are there 4 people on Rushmore, or is it 5?
Oh, that is a knowledge gap.
We are not American, so we don't know.
Let us know, Americans.
Either way, I believe one of them gets a place on the Rushmore. Look, I think Lita's better than Trish.
Sure.
Infinitely.
Yeah.
I think Trish is probably great, but I can't really think about and remember a lot about Trish Stratus, to be honest. She's not got as much longevity and inspiration, I don't feel. I think you can see Lita's kind of like influence on modern women's wrestling. I think that's good. Well, at least within WWE. But with Trish, I can't see it as much.
I kind of agree. I think the problem is that, like, Lita was a trendsetter. Like, the amount of women that come through WWE today that say that Lita was their hero is actually insane. And, like, she was great. She was very, very good. And she was before her time of being that good. And she was obviously really iconic for the TLC matches as well, where she was involved with the Hardy Boys and all that sort of stuff. Then she was involved in probably one of the most, like, craziest WWE storylines of all time. You know, rightly or wrongly involved in that one. But, like, it was pretty iconic either way, wasn't it? Like, and
She
I could.
fucked in the middle of the ring.
I mean, she fucked in the middle of the ring. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's all I've really got to say about that as a subject. It's pretty crazy. I mean, we can touch on like some other people of that like era. Like you've got like Ivory, Molly Holly, and like China was
I was going to say, you're not
amazing.
going to talk about China.
You know, I'm going to talk about China more than probably Trish. Like, I would put China there before I put Trish there. Like, China, if you like, you can go back and watch her matches, and I feel like they stand up as matches. Like, she was really good, and
Yeah.
she was very much before her time. You look at like China in the modern day, and I think that she's probably getting the popularity peaks of Rhea Ripley. I really think she'd be that level in the modern day. She was just way before her time, and you know, I think this is the sad thing about when you look at the older like women's wrestlers is that they were probably all like the really good ones were all before their time, and that's the kind of crappiest part about when you talk about stuff like this is like they were all really good, but just not at the right time in history, which kind of sucks, doesn't it?
I'd say they were all 20 times less talented than the women nowadays.
But I think talent aspects and stuff comes down to a lot of things like training and like
I'm just
TV
fucking with you.
time. Oh, I mean, look,
I think China and Lita are iconic as shit because they transcended the stereotypical position for women at that time in the industry. Within WWE at least. Like obviously Japan, they've always had a bit more respect for women. Who would have thought? But
respect for everyone, to be honest. But
you know, but WWE didn't. They were doing some crazy shit. Bra and panty matches. Lita fucking in the ring, crazy. But China, she a girl boss. Lita, she a girl boss. And I'm not saying that Trish isn't a girl boss. I think she's incredibly talented. But she didn't have as, I guess, incredibly well defined a character as China and Lita. And I think what we're seeing nowadays is that the very well defined characters in women's wrestling are the ones that rise to the top. So you're thinking your Rhea Ripley's, your Bianca Belairs, Jade Cargill, Naomi's recent run, incredible. Not RIP, just saluting, I guess. And I think
wish her a good pregnancy.
Yeah, wish her a good pregnancy, which isn't weird to say.
Yeah, sorry, Corey. It's just it's fine.
But then, like, you go a bit back. I think not the worst part of like women's wrestling, but when I started to grow up and realize, like, holy shit, this is like weird. Like, this is not treated in the same way. It's like treated as almost like a sideshow. Nikki Bella era. I don't know. I didn't fuck with it.
So we're gonna do that. I think what we're gonna do is like go from the generation to generation. The last thing I'm gonna shout out about the older generation, Jack Quillen was sick. She was awesome, man. She was like strong, fierce, like great. Again, before a time, people like Mia Yim as well, like just people just before the time. But going on to like the next sort of generation. So I'm gonna couple this as like Beth Phoenix, Natalia, Melina, like that, Michelle
The Divas era.
McCool. Yeah, so like start like end of your sort of women's title, like the gold belt with the red on, and then like sort of going into the Divas era. So people from this era that I would talk about, Beth Phoenix was awesome. Like she was like one of the first women's wrestlers growing up that I was like, she has like aura. Like she genuinely demands like attention as a wrestler. Like she's genuinely like really, really good. And I think she definitely elevated the division. And I know Natalia gets a lot of stick. I think when Natalia started out her career, I think she did as well. Like she was obviously really talented, obviously had a very good family to like back it up and train and all this sort of stuff. So I think she was great. What sort of is there from that sort of era that you go, you know what? They were great.
I mean, it's an interesting one because I think for me the most standout of that era, almost like characteristically, doesn't even belong in that era. AJ Lee.
Yeah.
characteristics of AJ Lee would fit far better in like the next era we go to than it does in this. But you could argue that that is just because she was that good that like she managed to bring that change, so it fit into more of a not respectable, but women's wrestling being seen a bit more as like, oh, these feuds can be like just as good as like the male feuds that we're doing if we give them enough time.
I think AJ Lee actually transitioned and helped the whole of it. Like, you know, the women's evolution is always seen as like the turning point. I actually don't think it is at all. I think like AJ Lee planted the seeds for the turning point way before that. Like,
Yeah.
that's how influential she was in that sense. And like, I think one name that I would bring up from that sort of era, because she had 2 runs and she was a 6-time women's champion. And if I don't bring it up, I feel like, you know, we should. Like, Mickie James was really good as well. And it's a real shame that like one of the things that people remember her for is like the Piggy James stuff and like being like a stalker and all that
being
sort of stuff.
mistreated.
Yeah, just completely mistreated as a character
Yeah.
and as a person, because she was just very talented. And like when she had runs back I think she had a run like 2016, like to early 2020s, where she had like a couple of year run and she put on really good matches, and it was like, oh, actually, she is quite a good wrestler. And controversial or not, I think she's better than Trish. But again, it's perception and how she was booked and how she was treated, and a long list of different reasons, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the Divas era was definitely where we started to see women's wrestlers rather than just like women's athletes / models. Before, like it would almost be like a surprise when you see a woman debut and she was like, oh, this is actually like a professional wrestler and a woman, rather than it just being like, oh, this is obviously like an ex Miss America who they brought in to try and like engagement farm with like the 90s horny teenage crowd.
But it's exactly what that was exactly what they were doing. Like, like they got like Sable because she did Playboy and all this sort of stuff, and then like she was a sex symbol. And it's not about wrestling; it's just about being a sex symbol, isn't it? So like, yeah, it's the Divas era had its ups and downs, let's just say, but it was certainly transitioning into a better era. I think if I picture somebody holding, I don't know about you, if you picture one person holding that Divas title, for me, it's Michelle McCool. I mean, it's the first person I think of when I think of that belt. Like, again, very before her time, very, very good in the. I thought she was really good in the ring. I'm assuming yours is AJ Lee, though, right? The way you're looking at me like that.
No.
No, Divas title. Ah, okay. Well, that's just.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, I mean,
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that.
Okay. I mean,
Paige's debut, I think, was one of the big sparks towards like the end of the Divas era.
Again, because she was someone that was completely different and came in and was AJ Lee.
I think it's because they treated her like a professional wrestler making a big debut with Aura, rather than like, oh, here's a women's match, you know? And I think that's what is like most notable about our current generation of women's wrestling. It's that they are treated as like essentially like fighters, rather than like eye candy.
I mean, and also Paige's debut as well was Raw After Mania. Yeah. And I think the fact that it was the Raw After Mania kind of made it more hype, and you had an amazing crowd behind it. And, you know, they later made a film about her life and stuff, and that was all in it, which was, you know, it's like it's one of those big moments of like women's wrestling where you could say, yeah, that actually was treated perfectly.
It's very it's very rare in women's wrestling for them before the modern era, for them to treat a women's wrestler with like a WWE moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Like China winning titles were moments. Lita's got a fair few moments, but when I think of like the goats of women, especially during these eras that we spoke about, I don't really think of that many like moments that were like truly just, oh my god, look at this happening. This is like a spectacle.
Like, I know that people would point to like Lita and Trish main event in Raw. That's the fact that that's brought up is insane. Like that's genuinely shows how far women's wrestling's come. That main event in Raw, which no offense to anyone that main events Raw, is really not a big of a deal. It's really not that deep.
We've
The
had
fact
some
that
really bad people. Main
yeah,
event Raw.
the fact that that was actually a big deal at the time shows how far women's wrestling's come. So
Mm.
we're going to go to the next era. We're going to talk about sort of the evolution era. So this will be your Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Bayley.
The Horsewoman era.
Yeah, this sort of era which is sort of coming through now. This was a time where I feel like WWE was saying, I would go towards they were leaning into equal now, not just you've got a spot on the show. They were leaning into you are an equal member of the show. I think it's probably not quite there yet, but leaning into that sort of.
They were outwardly saying we're going to treat them as equals. I don't think it had quite got there yet, but it was definitely getting there. They started main eventing actual pay-per-views now.
Yeah,
you know,
and they had their own pay-per-view as well, which and stuff like that kind of makes a difference. I feel.
Yeah, it's actually showing that we are going to treat them fairly now, rather than it just being like, oh no, of course I'm not a racist. I don't do racist things, but then like they're obviously a racist, you know.
Yeah.
Like, just saying you're not something doesn't make you not something. You have to actually show that you are respectful.
Sure. Like, and WWE clearly learned from their mistakes, didn't they? They learned from the way they treat women to think, you know what, actually, that's kind of not the right thing to do. You can either say they learned or they just had to evolve with the time, but whatever, right?
Yeah, it's quite cynical, but I get you.
It doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there, right? So, talk about the women from that era. So, Sasha Banks and Charlotte, I'm gonna talk about at the same time because I think that their runs, and I think you'll probably agree, have kind of before Sasha left, those two were just patty caking the title, and they had a really, really good matches and good feud, and they both are now multiple-time world champions. They have to be discussed in this conversation. I think, especially
they became
Charlotte.
Multiple-time world champions from one feud with each other.
Sure, yeah.
Look, do I think it was booked right? No. Do I think that the athletes involved put on incredible performances? Yes. You know, I think they proved that they could main event. They proved that they could have not just like acceptable matches, but like matches that you would want to tune in to watch. You know,
like genuinely good matches. Like their Hell in a Cell match is one that I can remember where it was like awesome, like genuinely really good.
Like I think about the Hell in a Cell match as well, and I think like that was probably the best match on the card.
Which says a lot, like on a card like that. I'm very open with our audience. I'm googling which WrestleMania it was when it was the triple threat because I genuinely off the top of my head can't remember. I don't know if you can. Not the main event one. The
I was gonna say, I was like, brother, you were there.
32 WrestleMania 32, which is a match that when they introduced the Raw Women's title, didn't they? It was Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Banks. And I think we said on the night when we were watching it, this was probably match of the night.
Yeah.
On a Mania card. I mean, that should show you everything you need to know about how far it's come. That was match of the night, potentially.
Yeah, I think the transition into the Horsewoman being like the main, essentially like the absolute, they were the gravity that the women's division rotated around. You know, they were the absolute center of it all. And I think that the fact that they were the center of it all, they were the selling point, spoke volumes about, oh, they were actually going to be treating the women's division a lot better from now on.
It is a real good like transition point, and I think that Charlotte's a 14-time women's champion, right? Look, it happened how it happened, but she's the most decorated woman in WWE history. You can't take that off her. And if you want, people have opinions about Charlotte Flair, or whatever. You want a good match with someone, you just put Charlotte in it. And whether you agree with that or disagree with that, she is a good wrestler. Like character work, and a lot of people have say likability, whatever. But she's a great wrestler.
She fell off a little bit If I'm
Sure,
being
but
completely
she had a lot
honest.
of big. She had a big injury there, didn't she, with a knee and stuff? And like, I suppose it's
Yeah,
you change how you wrestle, don't you, when stuff like that happens.
but I actually think her run with Alexa Bliss is quite fun.
Yeah,
And I like her, but I probably wouldn't put her as my number one of the four horsewomen ever, really.
and we'll get onto that later because the end of this conversation is one of naming who we think is the actual goat. So coming out of
Well, I think we do the horsewoman now, and then we can do the actual goat later.
the
Because
okay,
I think the next generation rivals, if not improves on nearly all of the horsewomen.
okay, so four horsewomen vote: Becky top, Charlotte
Yeah.
second, Bailey third, Sasha fourth.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
You could probably argue Bailey second. So out of those four women,
I don't
Bailey.
think you can argue Bailey second.
Oh, would you
I
argue?
like Bailey probably the most out of all four of them, but
Would you argue Sasha?
I think Sasha could be argued to be second or third.
I just don't like Sasha Banks really. Like, and it's not like I
I
don't.
don't either, but like I do respect her a little bit.
I respect
Just
the
a
hell
little
out of
bit.
her. She's a very good wrestler. Like I respect the hell out of her, but I just like I just think for me, I've always preferred Bailey, and Bailey's heel turn and stuff, and like the character work that she's done. I just really like it, and I think like she's done a great job. So
I will always tune into a Bailey match more than literally any of the others. But I definitely don't think most people would put her as number one.
just before we move on from the Four Horsemen, obviously talking about Bailey because we've talked about the few a little bit as well. Bailey is also like a 5-6 time women's champion. She's won the Royal Rumble. She's won the Money in the Bank. Like she's pretty much done everything you can do as a wrestler. So she absolutely is in this conversation. And at the end, I am going to ask Kyle to do his Mount Rushmore, and I'm going to do mine as well. Bailey is definitely in my head at this point of doing it, just because the way that she develops her characters, what she's achieved. I'm looking at a picture of Mount Rushmore, so I make sure it's 4. It is 4. We were right. We do know America. Fuck yeah.
Freedom, am I right?
Rock, flag, and eagle. Right. So if we're going on then, and we're going on to sort of a few of the people
The modern generation.
Yeah. So let's just group this as the modern generation now, because we've talked about this for a long time right now. So let's go modern generation. So you're talking Oscar, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. I think Oscar's before these, but like I'm still going to group her into like modern generation. Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, these sort of people. So
Alexa Bliss, modern generation. Are you tripping?
she's about the same generation as like
Nah, she
Oscar.
horsewoman generation in my head.
I mean, Oscar kind of is as well. She wasn't that much far after.
I would also, I'd put Oscar in the horsewoman generation.
Okay, well, I still need to talk about Alexa Bliss and Oscar. Oscar is just genuinely incredibly talented, and the worst thing they ever did with her was having a loser unbeaten streak to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Dumb. Just dumb.
I think she's just been mistreated a little bit.
Yeah.
I think she's like actually oozes aura at like all times. She might have the most one of the most aura in women's wrestling, but they just don't. They obviously don't see her like that anymore, and it is what it is.
I don't know if it's because she's older potentially that they just kind of just think that she'll.
I think that's what gives her the aura.
No, but I think that for them, I don't know if they just see her as like this enhancement talent of like you can put people over, you can have a good match with anyone. So that's what we're going to do with you. But like she's 43, she's not like freaking ancient. You know what I mean? Like she's a couple of years older.
They're
than
just
Roman
so
Reigns,
confused that like a woman's in here and she's 43. What? How is she still doing it?
Like yeah,
we didn't know that they could do this.
So like, I mean, Oscars are definitely mistreated. Is a fair statement. Alexa Bliss is a really interesting one because Alexa Bliss is great. Like I think she's been great the whole way through. My only thing is that I didn't mind all the Bray Wyatt stuff with her, and I do think some of it was good, but it just I don't know, man. I think that Alexa Bliss was so good before that anyway that you had to do that with her, and I don't know if that maybe kind of staled her character with people, and it's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? The Lily stuff and all that.
I think if we're gonna like rank people, I don't really think Alexa Bliss is on the same level as the other people we've discussed. I think she's incredibly talented, and she's still going. So like, she probably can get there. But I don't think she's the same as like your Oscars, your Horsewoman, your Lita, Beth Phoenix. I don't think she's there.
I mean, she's like what 5-time women's champion. She won the Money in the Bank. Like she's had a good career. Don't get
Saying
me wrong.
someone's like a multi-time women's champion doesn't really mean a lot.
I suppose it doesn't.
Like,
And I
it's
think
saying, "Oh, Ric Flair's this many-time champion." Cool.
he's no
But
one's goat though, is he?
Yeah, he's no one's goat.
Some people
Like,
might
it doesn't really mean
maybe,
that
but
much.
like, yeah, I mean, and there's people
Like,
that
you don't
haven't
say
had.
Charlotte's the goat because she's won the championship so many
No,
times.
no. But like, I think she's definitely in the conversation that we're having, and I think she deserves to be mentioned because she's been very much a pillar to the like age that she's been in, and like that, you know, a pillar.
Bro, when was she a pillar, bro?
Bro, like when she carried a lot of the women's division for a lot of years, she was really good. I mean, you kind of like underestimating how good she was. I even this is not maybe
maybe I had my eyes closed because I didn't see that.
Fair enough. Okay, let's talk modern then. So like Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. See, I feel like Naomi's actually not that far off. Like there's the horsewomen generation, but I'm going to Cooper into modern because she's doing her best work now.
Naomi, even before the horsewoman, she's been in for so long.
I think she's been here longer than people think.
Yeah, it's crazy that it took them till now to realize that she's actually so fucking good.
I think a lot of people have said that she's been good for ages, and it's like WWE.
I've been saying even like during Horsewoman, I was like, Naomi's so good, and I hope she gets a shot. Like I feel like they've treated her in the same way as they treat Bayley, where they just don't quite treat her with the same amount of like respect as the other people of her talent level around her.
There's like, so I looked at before we did this like show, if you like. I looked at a list of like great women's wrestlers of all time. Naomi's not on it, and Nia Jax is.
No, that's scuffed.
I mean, like,
put one blast.
Sportster.com.
Oh, my least favorite sports website.
They think Nia Jax is better than Naomi.
They're wrong.
Horrific take.
An unbelievable take.
That is a Dave style take.
That is.
Yeah, look, modern generation, Bianca Belair is just very, very popular, sells loads of merch, and she's just unbelievably talented. Rhea Ripley's one of the most talented superstars in WWE. Male or female, she's probably top 5 most popular consistently.
I believe that we're talking about Mount Rushmore, yeah? I believe that Rhea and Bianca should both be on there. I think they are by far the best 2 women on the roster and have been for the past 4 years. Minus the horsewoman. I know we're going to talk about Becky at some point, but mine's Becky.
Look, the thing is with Rhea and with Bianca, and you know, you can watch any of their matches. They're just so unbelievably talented, and like they're both good on. My issue with Bianca for all the years was just that she was really good in the ring, but I just didn't see a lot from her that I was maybe aimed at me, whatever. But I feel like now I see her for what she is, and what she is really talented. Her character work's really good, and when she eventually has this match with Jade, like it's gonna go crazy. And I'm not going to put Jade in this conversation
with Bianca.
Yeah, you have, and I feel like with like Jade and stuff, I wouldn't put her in this conversation just because it's very, very early days and stuff. But I mean, in like 5-6 years' time, Jade might be in this conversation. Like she's really good, and you know,
she's got a lot of potential.
Definitely. And someone we missed. When I say missed, I don't want to say I missed her because I kind of chose not to talk about her because she's not in my GOAT conversation, but someone that just again would pop up on some people's. Nikki Bella. She ain't it for me. Bang average in the ring. Averages out on the mic. Not compelling to me whatsoever. I don't know if you feel the same.
I don't think she's like influential at all. You know who I think will be influential in 5 years' time? Someone I actually do think we've missed. I say we've missed. I didn't think we'd got to that point yet. But I guess I'm worried about us missing them when we go to talk about goats. The best women's wrestler in the world for the past
Yes,
few
Io
years.
Sky.
No, Tony Storm.
Bro, Io Sky has been the best women's wrestler. Like,
Are you
in
tripping?
the, Tony Storm's
Timeless
character work's amazing.
Tony
I've got,
Storm.
yeah, I feel like you got to kind of Io Sky has been amazing the last couple of years.
Yeah, she's been great. Yeah. Not remotely as good as Tony Storm has.
Character work, Tony Storm.
No, not even just character work. Her in-ring storytelling, her character work is phenomenal, but every time she's on the mic, every time she's in the ring, every time she's given some stupid shit to make work, she makes it work and then adds some. You know?
I think you could probably argue that Tony Storm's character work is probably the best of all time. I don't think anyone. I can't remember any time that
She is on some Roman Reigns like level of generational run.
And this sounds like I'm
great.
saying she's not good in the ring. She's very good in the ring. I'm not saying here being like, oh, she's not. But what's got her so popular, and I feel like pop culture popular, not wrestling popular, like pop culture popular, is because of her character work. It is insanely good.
I think if there's an argument that China can be up there, then I think Tony Storm slaps China about in terms of just how incredibly entertaining they are.
Because the thing with Tony Storm, and people that would maybe disagree with the comment you've just made, I don't, by the way, but some people that might would probably say, well, China had more longevity. Mate, like this timeless Tony Storm gimmick's been going on for years. It's not new, is it? Like it's been going on for years at this point, and it's still
And
really
she's even
good.
like shook it up, and it's still entertaining. Like she's just fucking goat. Like she's actually the goat, bro. Maybe not the goat, but she's definitely at least one of the letters.
And you want to like point out about Tony Storm as well. She's 29 years old.
Oh yeah, this is what I'm saying. We're talking about influence. We haven't seen the influence that Tony Storm's gonna have on women's wrestling or Western women's wrestling. But I tell you, on God, it's gonna be a lot. I can imagine in 5-10 years' time, your favorite women's wrestler will be Tony Storm. You know?
I would agree with that. And I think like just topping off this like newer generation of wrestlers, people like Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, people like that, just probably not in the conversation for me yet. I think Liv's closer, but I think Liv's now
really, really good. I think Liv deserves
is
more in this conversation than Alexa Bliss does. Genuinely,
I don't actually hate that, to be honest, because I feel like Liv's been brilliant, and the Judgment Day stuff's been great, and the stuff that she's done with Dom has been like I could definitely say Corey's favorite stuff on TV, and a lot of people's as well. So, and she's really elevated Dom. Like Dom's great himself, but she's like elevated him even further.
Yeah. She's 100% allowed Dom to develop a lot.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Rhea helped him develop a lot, and then Liv has somehow allowed him to go even further.
She turned him into Dirty Dom.
Yeah.
This guy is just kissing her at fucking SummerSlam right in front of Rhea, giving her the old, "Wait, have some of that."
Yeah, he went from a little bit of a lame ass to, oh my God, this is Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
He's actually his son. No contact needed.
And you've got to give Liv a lot of credit for doing that as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Liv's on mine, but oh God, she's like probably 7 or 8. Like she's pretty close to being on.
She's top 10.
So here is the question, Kyle. We've been doing this for 34 minutes. And whenever we do a longer episode, it's because we genuinely care about it, like really care about what we're talking about.
We care about women.
We care about
that
women.
8% of women listening. We need to get that up.
We're aiming for 10. We're aiming for 10, baby.
We're aiming to at least 3 people. Come on, we can do it.
Yeah, we got this. We got this in the locker. Come on, guys. And girls. Mainly, this is what we're talking about. Right. Kyle, Mount Rushmore. 4 women's wrestlers. Do you want me to go first?
You can if you want.
So, obviously, 4 Mount Rushmore and stuff. It doesn't mean you have to rank them, but I am going to rank mine. Becky Lynch is 1, comfortably. I don't even think it's close for me. Like, I know that people would argue with people. Becky Lynch had the iconic moment on SmackDown when Nia Jax did a Nia Jax thing, right? You know, broken nose, whatever, right? She had amazing runs. She main evented WrestleMania, right? And that in itself is insane. And obviously, I shout out Charlotte for that as well, and you know Ronda for their work. But realistically, that match doesn't happen if Becky's not in it. I think Becky was so popular in that at that time, sort of 2018, 2019 era, with that Mania being at 2019. She's so popular that having them main event made sense. And I don't think that. Obviously, I think Rhea's got that level of popularity, and to be honest, I think Rhea main events WrestleMania at some point easily. I don't think anyone questions that. But I think right now for me, it's Becky Lynch. All the multiple title reigns, the fact that she went to NXT and won the NXT title, the fact that she's now a heel and she's got a great character. Like the work that she did with like CM Punk and Raw this week was insane. I think you could give Becky anything, and like anything, and she'd make it amazing. So yeah, I mean Becky undoubtedly my number one. Like not I don't think I could ever be shook off that.
I agree.
So Becky won for me.
Yep.
The rest aren't in order because I think Becky's one, and then the other three are just the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I deliberated on this for a long time. I'll gotta be honest with you. It was not easy for me.
It's not easy.
It's really hard to narrow it down to four. But I'm going to say Rhea purely because I've never seen anyone be so. I don't think I've ever seen many people like in women's wrestling be top 5 most popular superstars on the roster consistently for years. Rhea has got that level. But it's not just that. She's got an insane amount of aura. She's really, really good in the ring. And I really struggle to find a negative with her. I think there's just an unbelievable amount of positives with her that I couldn't find a single negative. So yeah, Rhea on there for me as well.
Nice. Ooh,
now. I'm not struggling. I'm just going to go rogue. I feel like you're going to disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to go rogue because personally, I put Paige on there for me, and I think that the reason for that. See, you don't like it. You don't like it.
This fucking dude.
I put Paige on there for me because I felt that she came in at a perfect time with the character that she came in with. I felt that she was. So I thought she was really, really talented, really good in the ring. I think her title reigns were really good. And I think she did evolve as a character. I think she did evolve as a persona, if you like. And I think she kind of branched out from wrestling and was really successful as well. You know, I don't know. It's a personal preference on who you like and stuff. And I feel like just Paige is on mine. Or Saraya if you prefer. Whatever you want to go
you
with.
questioned me when I said Paige was the first person I think of when I saw where I think of the Divas title, but you're saying, oh no, Paige has actually got that aura.
Crazy, isn't it?
Right, bro.
I wrote my 4.
Give me your last one.
I wrote my 4 before we did this as well. And that's the craziest part.
That is crazy.
But, yeah. Well, I wanted to write it before because I didn't want you to say stuff that made me change my opinion. I don't have you like that. Okay, I'm gonna give you my 4. But very quickly, honourable mention. Io Sky is going to be on my 4 at some point. She will end up on this 4. I love Io Sky, man. She's just amazing. She's 5, for sure. But my number 4. Ooh. You ready?
I am ready.
I can see it in his eyes. He's dead excited.
Bayley. Certainly.
No, Bayley's my number 4. I think her character development's brilliant. I absolutely love her, and it's really hard to say a lot about her. I just think she's been great. Like she came in as like quite a generic babyface thing with the wacky arm flailing tube men, and like she was this like clean cut babyface, and then her heel stuff's been brilliant. I love Damage Control personally. I think when she brought them out at SummerSlam, it was a goated moment for me, and yeah, Bayley, my number 4.
Okay. So is this who you think are the 4 like greatest women's wrestlers of all time, or just who you like the most?
I've done it as who I like the most. I think if it's like the 4 greatest of all time, then you're probably going to put Lita on there, and I think you'd be hard pushed to not put Charlotte on there. But I think just for me, I don't resonate with them as much.
So okay, I'll do it like you then. Of like who I guess maybe even who I think are gonna have like the most influence slash just who the best are, who I like the most. Becky, number 1, 100%. Like you got that unlocked. It's hard to argue that she's not just the GOAT. Infinite aura, great in the ring, great storytelling. Main event first WrestleMania as a woman, unbelievable. Number 2. Maybe it's hard to argue it's not Charlotte.
Sure.
Like I maybe I don't like Charlotte as much, but I think I respect her enough to be like, yeah, she's number 2. You know, like she is maybe not the most interesting wrestler of all time, but she's got the fundamentals down so lock and key.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of proved a point about women's wrestling. You know?
I mean, that's kind of the point I was saying. Like, whether you like her or don't like her is irrelevant. She probably
It's
is
hard to say that she's not incredibly talented.
She's definitely on there if you're talking about literal goats. I just like it's a personal thing, I suppose, isn't it?
If it was about just my favorite, Charlotte wouldn't be on there, and I'd replace her with. Let me think. Lita. You know, I'm not actually that big of a Lita person, but I like the influence that she's clearly had on women's wrestling.
She had a lot to do with our childhood as well and stuff, like especially with the TLC matches and the Hardy Boys and all that sort of stuff.
I feel like if you ask your favorite women's wrestler who their favorite women's wrestler is, they'll say Lita.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's fair. 3. Tony Storm. I genuinely think in 5-10 years' time, we will look at Tony Storm as the GOAT. Maybe in contention with Becky. Other than that, I think she'll be the GOAT. 4, Rhea Ripley. It was between her and Bianca, but I think Rhea edges her out in terms of popularity. I think I've not like you said, I've never seen a women's wrestler have such a connection with the crowd. Like she's more popular than Cody in most of the stadiums that she goes in.
Oh, for sure. Like for sure.
And when they're trying to sell Cody as like the face of the company, and Rhea comes out and gets like twice the amount of cheer, you just can't argue with it's the stats are in front of you, you know. You can't argue with them. And she's also just cool. Like she's got aura. She's got a character that no one's really going to compete against. She's not a traditional like women's wrestler in most of the eras like we've talked about, but she's the best in this one. So there you go.
I don't think there's another Rhea Ripley. I mean, if you want to sum it up in the easiest possible way, there's just not another Rhea Ripley, and there's not another Bianca either. But I just think that Rhea's just. I think she's a level above, and Bianca's probably like 6 or 7 on my list. She's definitely in the top 10 for sure. But you know, I know that I had a bit of a rogue shout with Paige or Saraya. I think it's always. I think I look at it.
I can sense the regret in your voice.
There's no regret at all. I think it's more. I look at it in eras and stuff, and I think she had her era. I think that you've kind of forgot like how like she did have a good couple of years where she was like right at the top. I think most people would have said that she was. Great.
I ain't seen it.
There's not a longevity there, as certainly as much as the other people.
I don't think she has any influence on the women's wrestling industry.
Hot take. I would disagree with that. I think, to be honest,
I don't think anyone's. I don't think any like wrestler's favorite wrestler is Paige. Just on God.
Well, there we go. But Carl, me and you have sat here for 45 minutes talked about women's wrestling, and to be honest, I feel like we could keep going. But we've done our Mount Rushmore. We've gone through all the eras. I think we've covered this pretty well. I've enjoyed this one. Really enjoyed this one. It's been good fun.
I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I've had a horrible time.
Wow.
Of course,
Jesus.
I've not. It's been great.
He's loved it. I've loved it. You see how dark it's got in my room, by the way? If you're watching this on YouTube, we
I
started
was
this,
going to
you
make a
could
comment.
completely see me. And now it's just got so dark, I'm not even barely in shot now.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment that it looks like we're filming in the same location just because the weather has like just suddenly become sunny for both of us. So yeah, TGP. We're in TGP headquarters.
I don't have a
As Adam likes
blind.
to say.
I don't have a blind in this part of TGP headquarters. I need to get. I've got one. It's down there. I've not put it up yet. When I do, it'll be easier to see me.
Well, maybe you need a big strong woman to help you, like Rhea Ripley or China. Or Beth Phoenix, but I think Beth Phoenix isn't she quite small?
She's strong though.
Yeah, she's strong as shit, but like you need a bit of height.
Oh, height. I mean, like Michelle McCool's tall. If you just want height,
Yeah, but you need to be strong enough to hold it as well. Come on, bro.
oh, he's pretty strong. I mean,
No
like,
wonder you
okay.
ain't put that blind back up.
Yeah, this is true. Right. Have you got any final words, Kyle?
Praise the Lord.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna leave it there. So thank you very much for listening, watching, consuming our product, and we will see you next time.
Yep.